Hey, what's up? I'm gonna rap a little bit about anxiety, and where it comes from, and why people are completely unaware of that. Anxiety anxiety comes from a small part of our head that's freaking the fuck out about something, and we grow up so emotionally and mentally shut down that we're just unaware of what's going on in our head. We can't even hear it. There's I know that, like, when I'm sifting over the years, as I've sifted through the mire of what's inside of my head, I'll feel something first, and then if it's kind of buried, I won't even know. You know, it takes me a while to figure out, like, what's driving it. I won't even be able to hear it. It'll feel like a fuzz. You know, like a fuzzy picture coming into clarity. And so anyhow, so I wanted to talk about it because I saw this post today of this woman who had anxiety, and she was talking about how her child was able to, like, talk and recognize about, like, oh yeah, like, mommy has anxiety, and, you know, grandpa and grandma had anxiety too, and, you know, daddy was depressed, and all this shit or whatever, and there was all these people commenting, you know, praising her for, like, oh my god, like, you're so great, and blah blah blah. And she was talking about how anxiety, like, scientists are saying that anxiety is a genetic thing. And it's like, bitch, there's no fucking genes for there's no genes for anxiety. Like, being predisposed to anxiety. Like, you have anxiety because you're full of shit and you have trauma that's fucking unresolved. And that trauma, like you have anxiety around how that trauma impacts, like, your psyche, and you're completely unaware of what's going on in your head. And and you haven't been able to deal with it because you're a fucking liar and you're full of shit. And it fucking and it kind of pissed me off because like I tend to like there's articles I've run into, or instances where, like, science tries to prove something science tries to prove the existence of something that's a byproduct of human interaction. You know, like somehow it was in our genes to have this happen, and it's like, God, you guys are so fucking dumb. Like, it's like our natural, like, we're not born broken. Our natural state is joy. Like, we get taught things that aren't real that cause a feeling of disease. You know, we are treated poorly by the people who are supposed to protect us, and we're treated poorly by, you know, interacting with other people as we go through the world. As we go through the world, we're ill-equipped to deal with how people treat us, and so what happens is we get hurt. We personalize things. We think it's our fault. We make bad decisions and choices, and like. And it doesn't, like, it can be so much cleaner and simpler when we have the tools to be able to, like, talk about why I feel the way that I'm feeling. You know, being able to be honest, have the strength and support to be able to feel my feelings, and be encouraged and supported to feel my feelings and not ridiculed, you know, and to be able to feel safe to do that, and be able to feel stuff. And on the other side of feeling, really feeling, talking about what's going on inside of me to the point where I'm experiencing the feelings that I don't want to feel. Only then, on the other side of it, that shit goes away. But I gotta talk about the underlying causes, and like most people don't talk about that shit. Most people are operating on like an exterior, superficial level, and that emotionally speaking, I'm talking about emotionally speaking, they operate from this place of, like the mentally ill operate from this place of emotional illness, and then try to fucking find all sorts of fancy reasons to justify and co-sign their asinine conclusions. And it's like you're not genetically born a fucking emotional freak show. Like you're not special, you're not a fucking snowflake, you're not unique, you're a human being just like everybody else. And the process for how we get wired is the same, the process for healing is the same. And the problems of avoiding that manifest in a myriad of ways that have always been the same. They're the same problems that plague humanity for tens of thousands of years. The problems are just the same, but it's about learning how to tell the truth. The answer's in learning how to tell the truth, learning how to be vulnerable, learning how to be honest, and then let the universe shed the sick people around you in the process of growth. And finding healthier people to hang out with, and it takes time, and it's painful, and it sucks, and it feels embarrassing, and it's completely worth it in the long run. Totally worth it. I've come a long ways, and I see people. I just see people justifying and rationalizing and arguing for their excuses and limitations, and being hypocrites and all this shit. It's like, man, like I hope they figure it out someday. And I wish I had somebody explain this shit to me when I was growing up. I wish I had somebody that said, "Hey kid, you're fucked up, but before you get butthurt, I want to let you know that I want to let you know that it ain't your fault, and I'll show you a way to fix it, and this is why. Not only this is how it works, but this is why." And the last 15 years of my life has been quite the journey. It's been completely insane, and I want to share, my experience, strength, and hope around stuff, in the hopes of being able to help other people. Just show them, like, hey, like, it ain't your fault. You ain't fucked up. You ain't crazy. Everyone else around you is a fucking lunatic, and you're the only one. You're the only one who gets it. And you don't have to like buy into the bullshit and buy into the lie and buy into the fucking insanity that's pushed in the youth culture of the media, and get, you don't have to live in a black or white thinking sort of mind frame, and that I found that most of the world is pretty healthy. Most of the world is there's way more good people out there than I thought. I used to think, oh, if you don't think like I do, then you're all it's us against them, like, type of thing, and if you're not with us, then you're one of them, and that's not true. Like, that is a minority percentage of the population, and most of the world isn't going to judge or judge you or be mean to you or any of that other shit, and that there's a lot of great people out there, and there's a lot of douchebags too, and if they don't like you, so what? I mean, like, none of us are obligated to like anybody. But there's it's also not personal. Like, I don't expect everybody to like me. You know, I don't need everybody to like me. And that strength and that knowing comes from a place of emotional, the emotional health and maturity and the foundation and the solid footing of the healing that I found. I did it through learning how to tell the truth. I did it through participating in the process of learning how to get better at doing that. All right, I've talked way too long. Thanks.